Hello everyone, my name is Sashi Bob. I will still continue the discussion of colonialism, but today what we'll be observing will be the John Stuart MacPherson Constitution of 1951. But John Stuart MacPherson was the general governor, yes, that entered position from 1948 to the year 1955 after Otto Richard left position. Okay, you know, Otto Richard made a lot of promises. He was not able to accomplish them. One of the major things he gave to us was regionalism. That's fact. So before MacPherson Constitution of 1950, when Nigeria was like, damn, we don't want that shit that will come under Richard to repeat itself under MacPherson no more. So Nigerians went to organize a constitutional conference in Ibadan. They call it Ibadan Constitutional Conference in 1950. And why? The reason for Ibadan Constitutional Conference of 1950 was to ensure that every single thing Nigeria desire is attained under Richard and under MacPherson Constitution of 1951. But in the long run, when the MacPherson Constitution existed in 1951, what are the things MacPherson gave to us? First thing he did was to change the Central Legislative Council to become House of Representatives. Do you understand? Although he created Executive Council in each region, which is North, West, and East. Do you understand? But beside that, this same guy, MacPherson, never wanted to give Nigerian true federalism at all. He gave us quasi-federalism. He enabled the regional House of Assembly to have some level of autonomous to make law. Why not give them full power to make law? Why? How are you giving them some level of power? But that was not the crazy aspect. Do you know that I said he gave us House of Representatives by changing Central Legislative Council? That House of Representatives was made up about 136 members, although there were no British members in it. But in the 136 members, about 68 were from North, 34 from West, and 34 from East. A lot of people were like, what's going on? Why will only not be having about 68 members? It was crazy. People were like, damn, we don't want this no more. A lot of complaints started coming up. My face was still like, relax. There was other things he did. But when all of these things was going on, MacPherson was actually trying to ensure administration of his was also okay for Nigerians. But it wasn't okay or that okay. What was the advantage? What was his benefit? He gave us a lot of things, you know. Yeah. He also appointed about 15 members in the Central Legislative Council. About 6 were officials. About 6 members were appointed by him, you know. And then about 6 members were called the chief commissioners, you know, later known as the lieutenant governors, you know. He also put about a broad-based executive council, and then that broad-based executive council was made of about 18 members. Yeah, he did all of those things. He gave Nigerians ability to participate more in the affair of their state. If you check, no British members were here, you know. But there's other thing he did. If you check, the regional House of Assembly, I said, I made known before that under Richard, the North was made by camera, House of Assembly and House of Chiefs. Under MacPherson, the West was made by camera, House of Assembly and House of Chiefs. You understand? House of Assembly, the upper house, House of Chiefs, the lower house. So he also gave us the Executive Council, which was later known as the Council of Ministers, I swear. You know, and introduced a new electoral system in the East and West as at that time. And he now brought about what we call universal adult suffrage just in the East and West. So, but it was not applicable in the North. North was still made adult suffrage. So, universal adult suffrage in the North, or when the women in the North were allowed to fully vote, or from 1976 in Nigeria, when McCartney was the chairman of the Electoral Commission, FEDECO, which we'll discuss later. You understand? So some of the good things it does, not like you need to have so amount of money before you can vote. No, everybody can vote now. Everybody can participate now. but with restriction to just the women from north. So that time, but disadvantage was crazy. Forget all this advantage. The disadvantage was crazy. He had veto power. They talk to him, doesn't listen. You understand? Those people that was present in the Ibadan Constitutional Conference of 1950 talk to this man. He doesn't listen. You know, it even led to a lot of big problems. There was a time, as in 1953, when he was still in position, a guy from Edo State, Attorney Enahoro, he led the motion that Nigeria should gain independence. He uses the statement, if rape is inevitable, everybody should sit down and enjoy sex. Repeat that statement again. If rape is inevitable, everybody should sit down and enjoy sex. Everybody was like, whoa, what are you saying? About Femi Awolowo was there, Nnamdi Azikiwe was there, Ahmadu Bello was there, Abubakar Tafawa Balewa was there. Balewa stood up. I tell you now, are you advising Nigerians to involve into sexual immoralities? About Femi Awolowo said, sit down, young boy. That's not what he's saying. What he's saying is that Nigeria is already due for independence. Let Nigeria gain independence in the year 1956. So the motion of Attorney Nahoro was that Nigeria should gain independence in 1956. Do you understand? But the Northerners were like, no, we are not ready for independence. We don't want this independence shit. And this led to a crisis. It led to a very big riot. It happened to be the major riot in Nigeria at that time. They call it the Kano riot from May 16 to 1953. You know, and this riot was crazy. And what led to this riot is because Attorney Nahoro led a motion that the Nigeria should gain independence 1956, and that motion was led 1953. Do you understand? He existed under the administration of this man called John Stuart MacPherson. Was a disadvantaged thing. The other problem also existed called the NCNC riot in 1953 as well. Well, the chief whip of Nnamdi Azikiwe claimed that Nnamdi Azikiwe is stealing money to Africa Continental Bank to assist his family. The chief whip is called Emmanuel Eyo-Okon. When Emmanuel Eyo-Okon used that statement on Nnamdi Azikiwe said, shut up your mouth. Why would you say that? Boom! Nnamdi Azikiwe slapped the hell out of Emmanuel Eyo-Okon. I was trying to stop the fight and shit. You know? But in the long run, Emmanuel Eyo-Okon stand his ground. Tried to reiterate with Nnamdi Azikiwe. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Emmanuel Eyo-Okon, boom, boom, boom. Crisis existed in the NCNC. They call it the NCNC riot of 1953. It was also crazy. This existed under the administration of the General Governor John Stuart MacPherson. It was a disadvantage to him. He was not having a responsive government in each center. It was crazy. He didn't give us independence. He didn't give us the office of the Prime Minister. He didn't give us true federalism. He gave us quasi, but that was not enough. And because of this, a lot of people were not satisfied about this whole issue concerning MacPherson. Nigerians started to say, okay, we want to go to London. We have to protest about this matter. They involved into the first London Constitutional Conference, 1953. You understand? That London Constitutional Conference, they requested we need a change. We can't stand and allow all this to exist in Nigeria. We need independence, simple as that. Do you know that? Because of this, people there in London were like, what are we gonna do now? Who will now go and help Nigeria and give what Nigeria want to them? Then the colony of state, as at that time, said, okay, let me come and set up or round off this problem this so-called Nigeria facing. They call this guy Oliver Littleton. Oliver Littleton was having a constitution in 1954 under the General Governor MacPherson. No, MacPherson left position in 1955. So Oliver Littleton was never a general governor, but he was having a constitution. He was wanting to help Nigeria. But was he able to help Nigeria? We'll check that out in the next video. So stay tuned. I will send questions on them. You answer them. Definitely you're going to pass. I wish you well. God bless.